So we are live. Hello and welcome to Rev Sports. I'm Shorjani Chatterjee, your host for the post-match show. And joining me today is Rahul Giri. Now, this post-match show is about hockey. We all know that India and Argentina, they were facing each other today, and India have lost the match. India had scored 3 goals, and Argentina has scored 5 goals in today's match. And we are here to discuss about everything that happened. Rahul, we will definitely discuss about Team India and where they went wrong because the hopes for the semi-finals have been crushed for Team India. But first things first, how good was Argentina today?
Absolutely, as expected. Argentina, again, the champions of the 2016 Rio Olympics and the recent times in the Pro League, as also, they were so impressive. As expected, they played really well. But just 2 hours ago, Indian fans were expecting, something miracle from this India men's hockey team. But to be honest, those who are the regular followers of hockey or Indian hockey, I think they didn't have that much expectation from this team because before this game the equation was like India needed to win big. Big means India need to win against Argentina by 3 goal margin, and that was a huge ask, from this men's hockey team who have so far actually played, underwhelming hockey so far at this tournament. Before the tournament, actually all had high expectation from Indian men's team. High expectation means not that they will finish on the podium, but still we expected that men's team will do better compared to the women's team. But so far at this tournament, if you see, our women's team actually defied our expectation. But on the other hand, so far it has been an underwhelming performance from the men's team. So before the game, the equation was like India need to win by 3 goal margin, and also they had to rely on the score of the other match that is between Netherlands and England because both of them in the same pool alongside India. They needed Netherlands to beat England by at least a 2 goal because England was ahead due to goal difference. The game was later day, that is 9:30, but unfortunately India couldn't match the intensity of Argentina hockey team. From the beginning, Argentina kept on dominating the game. It was within the first, I think, the second minute, the Argentina scored the first goal, and you know it was Argentina all over India. India, though, actually came back late into the game, but at time was running away for Indian men's team. So, of course, and a lot of things to talk about Indian men's hockey team. Of course, their head coach Craig Fulton also addressed the areas of concern because just within after a few weeks, India will be taking part at the upcoming Asian Games where they will be looking to clinch gold and also direct qualification for the Paris Olympic. But at this scenario, a lot of works need to be done with this hockey team, to be honest, to make that dream, into reality.
Yes, Rahul. And before we get into more discussion about today's match, yesterday was also the women's match, India versus Australia. It was a tie, but that means that the hopes for the Indian women's team has been crushed because they have not secured a place in the semi-finals as well. So, if I ask you to describe the journey of the Indian women's team so far in the Hockey World Cup, what would you say, Rahul?
They have been impressive, to be honest. We had minimal expectation from that team because the draw was that kind to the women's team as it was to the men's team, uh, because women's team were drawn into a group alongside teams like China, heavyweight England, South Africa. Against South Africa, there was obviously a realistic possibility, and also India actually thrashed South Africa by 6-1 margin. But actually, the performance Indian women's team pulled off against China and England, that shows how much the team have actually improved in the recent few months. Under their head coach Sword Marine. Sword Marine, who again rejoined Indian women's hockey team as the head coach in January, and since then the team has worked immensely hard. Behind the scenes, say tactically, say physically, mentally. They left no stone unturned for this hockey World Cup, and it clearly shows that women's team will all have huge expectation from them when they will take part in the Asian Games after few weeks. I think next month only Asian Games is starting. Women's team, they were also unlucky because against Australia they just needed to win that game to ensure their qualification for the semi-final. Last time they actually finished in the top four of this hockey World Cup. Actually, they have never got podium finish at the World Cup, but last time they finished inside top four was in 1974. So that is a bit painful for Indian hockey fans. Neither men's team nor women's team have finished on podium since 1975, and now the wait prolongs for Indian hockey fans. You are mute.
I apologize, but Rahul, you were just talking about India's last World Cup podium finish that came in 1975. Why has the wait been so long? Why, is India struggling? Why have they struggled to go deep into the Hockey World Cup consistently?
There is the story is actually twofold because initially India used to dominate the world hockey. India have established themselves as one of the heavyweight nation in the initial days of world hockey. In 1975, India actually won the gold and their first and last ever gold or title at the Hockey World Cup. But since then, India kept on struggling because after 1975, hockey actually moved from natural grass to synthetic turf, and that's when our Indian hockey player actually kept on struggling to match the intensity of the other nation who are used to playing hockey at the synthetic turf. Because after that, the game became physically demanding. Also, the game actually demanded skills, fitness, collective effort from any team. But what actually went wrong for India? Because before, when hockey used to be played at natural grass, India they used to master that game because of the individual brilliance, individual skills. But once hockey shifted from natural grass to synthetic turf, India kept on struggling. But since 2010, the change was evident because a lot of work went behind the scene. A lot of synthetic turfs were made across the country. The new generation started playing hockey at the synthetic turf, and also the result was evident because since 2018 India started matching the intensity of top nation. 2021 Tokyo bronze and Paris Olympic bronze is the proof of that. But again, when it comes to Hockey World Cup, somehow Indian men's team they fail to replicate their performance of Olympic. I don't know what the actual reason behind that, but Indian men's hockey team at Olympic is a different team. But when it comes to World Cup, they again they used to struggle. But this World Cup actually India had high expectation because recently after winning that bronze medal at the Paris Olympic, actually, I mean their head coach Craig Fulton has addressed a lot of areas where actually reinforcement was needed. To be honest, because giving opportunity to some new young players in this squad, to also recruiting mental conditioning coach Paddy Upton. A lot of things went, but still the performance remains same. I mean, if you look back at Indian men's hockey team performance so far at this Hockey World Cup, again the team is struggling a lot at the midfield. Neither game you will see India is dominating at the midfield. I don't know what's the reason. Maybe India need a strong pipeline through which they can get some new players from the youth system who can actually give fight to other players in the midfield. Apart from Hardik Singh, no one actually managed to control the midfield well at this World Cup. And because of midfield, India kept on struggling against heavyweight nations like England, then in this championship round against Netherlands, and now against Argentina. Midfield has been the big concern for Indian men's team. I don't know going forward how they will address that position, but as of now, midfield has been the biggest concern for this team.
Rahul, you keep on mentioning midfield. Do you feel that India, they have become too dependent on penalty corners for goals?
Absolutely. I mean, if you see India's only route to goal, in the recent times, say in the recent Pro League and now at the Hockey World Cup also, it has been penalty corner most of the time. I know today another big positive from the Argentina game, despite the loss, big loss to Argentina, that is Sukhjit scored two goals from open play. But apart from that, so far at this Hockey World Cup campaign, Harmanpreet have been the top scorer among that. He is now among the top scorer at this Hockey World Cup. Has scored, I think, 6 goal if I'm not mistaken. Uh, but still, he has scored 5 of his 6 goals from the penalty corner. So that shows how much this Indian team is reliant on penalty corner conversion. And when it comes to penalty corner conversion, it's no other than Harmanpreet Singh who only can score, who is actually lethal at the penalty corner. But apart from Harmanpreet Singh, there are very few options, who can give that kind of reliability to this Indian men's team. So that's why this is one area where actually India need reinforcement because India need to have a plan B apart from Harmanpreet Singh. What happens if Harmanpreet Singh fails to score against big opponent? Because of course, bigger opponent will come well prepared, against Harmanpreet Singh in some games. So at that time, you need plan B. But at this World Cup, never India actually had that plan B. When Harmanpreet Singh failed to convert the penalty corner, there was no one to, step up at this Hockey World Cup. So obviously, that is another concern for Indian men's team going forward.
Also, Rahul, do you feel that somewhere or the other, India were kind of struggling to deal with the pressure that was coming from Argentina because Argentina were constantly trying to attack? So, where do you think? I mean, do you have this feeling that India was struggling to deal with the attack?
See, the thing is, the difference between Argentina and India is once again evident. And earlier this year, only Argentina played two games against India during the Rourkela leg of the Hockey Pro League, where in the first game, Argentina defeated India by 8-1, and the second game, Argentina defeated India by 4-2. So that shows the difference between India and Argentina. Though during that game, actually, Craig Fulton rested few of the key players, senior player of the squad, but then it shows that Indian men's team have hardly progressed from where they were actually in the beginning of this year. Now at this Hockey World Cup also, they have suffered a 5-3 defeat against Argentina. And as you have mentioned, that India have struggled to match the intensity of Argentina because of the midfield only. Because if your midfield can't control the game, you will keep losing possession to your opponent. That means you are letting your opponent to control the game. That means your opponent will create more opportunity, your opponent will get more circle entries compared to yourself. So that's the problem India is suffering. And suppose if India can control the game from the midfield, then you are not letting your opponent enjoying the position, not letting your opponent to enjoy more ball position or create more circle entry. If your midfield loses control, then your opponent will keep pressurizing on your defense. That's how your defense will become penetrable, and that's how your opponent will create more chances, and that's how they will get more penalty corner, and they will get more route to their goal. So that has been the problem actually for Indian men's team, and also it was once again evident today against Argentina as well.
Rahul, keeping aside all the technical, technicalities and all the analytical concepts, do you feel that somewhere or the other, the pressure of the equation also kind of played a role in India's defeat today? Do you feel that somewhere or the other there was too much pressure on them today, or do you feel that it was completely, more? I mean, the question that I want to basically ask you is that do you feel that it was more of a mental matchup than a physical matchup today?
Absolutely, I think the pressure was evident on the team because that was a huge ask. Because India need to win big also against a team like Argentina, whom they haven't defeated in the last three meetings. So obviously that's a huge pressure, and also there's a different pressure of World Cup as well. There are so many fans back at home who are having huge expectation from the team. So that's a separate pressure, obviously, and I think India failed to actually deal with that pressure well, because in the initial minute only India I mean, within 6 or 7 minutes, India conceded two goals. So that shows India failed to, weather the pressure of this big game. So also, I also think that before the game, there was a complex mathematical equation to qualify for the semi-final, and that actually implied a lot of pressure on this team, Shorjani. Also, we have got few
True.
comments as well. If you
Yes, I
want
was
me to
about to
read
take the
out
comments. Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
that is, UK Thunder is saying if we want to improve major overall needed, sack Craig Fulton, bring Reed back, Chris Krillo to prepare 3 to 5 specialists with Rupinder Pal, give goalkeeping responsibility to Pierce Ridges. That's a valid point made by UK Thunders, but I don't think uh, Hockey India will take such decision right now, because just within 3 weeks the Asian Games will start, where India will be looking to win the gold medal to get a direct qualification at the LA Olympics in 2028. So I don't think Hockey India will take such decision. They will wait for the result of Asian Games. If things go wrong for Indian men's team, then obviously I think uh, they will take such decision, but not right now after this World Cup. Another comment we've got, that is India lacks serious stamina heading into quarter 3 and quarter 4. They just becomes defensive. Absolutely, but contrastingly, if you see in the quarter 3 and quarter 4, India got few goals as well today against Argentina. But so far it has been a similar story actually for Indian men's hockey team at this World Cup. I mean, against Wales, then against England, then against Pakistan, then also against Netherlands as well. India kept dropping intensity in the last few quarters, and that, I mean, it raises question about the fitness issue of the team as well. Is it fitness or is it concentration? It raises question, about the team, that why they keep dropping intensity in the last two quarters. These are the things they need to improve actually, because at the Asian Games they will be playing. I mean, India won't face that kind of strong opposition in the group stage, but when it will come to the knockout, India will have to face teams like North Korea. So keep in mind. It's not that Asian Games will be a cakewalk for Indian men's hockey team.
True. I'll just take over the comments from here, Rahul. Saurav Kumar says Argentina were playing as if they have to maintain a two-goal difference to qualify. The Indian body language was so defensive, no killer instinct. And I think you were talking about this, a few minutes ago as well.
Sorry, okay, I will read out this comment. Argentina were playing as if they have to maintain a two-goal difference to qualify. Absolutely, that's a huge difference, between, the way both the team actually approach this game. Absolutely, I agree with Saurabh Kumar. I mean, the way Argentina was playing from the first minute, it seemed as if Argentina, had a sense of urgency, to qualify for the semi-final and not India. I mean, they scored two goals inside 6 minutes, which shows, clearly shows about the approach of Argentina team at this World Cup. And that's always, there's a huge difference between Argentina and Indian men's team, to be honest, at this World Cup.
True, Rahul, and we'll just take a couple of comments and then we'll close today's show. Um, in a crucial game, we can't even convert one penalty corner out of six. Complete surrender. Absolutely. And then we can't blame players when the whole management was busy where the jersey color should be orange or blue. Rahul, we've had multiple discussions regarding this as well.
We can't blame players, and whole management was busy with the jersey color should be orange. Better be if we don't discuss about this and we focus on the game, actually. I mean, the best part of this World Cup, when in men's team, I mean, women's team was playing, I think, okay, better if we don't discuss about this.
Rahul is just trying to play it safe, guys. Um, we have another question. Okay, sorry to ask, but will you guys come live after India versus Belgium game? Will not be easy to come after the shambolic. Definitely, we'll definitely go live, and
Of
Bharat will be
course.
there. Bharat is definitely going to be there. The next question: if you're not going to sack coach, then bring. Okay, Rahul, you better take this comment.
No, as Shorjan, as we already discussed, the India need to have plan B after Harmanpreet Singh. So far
True.
in the last 2 or 3 years, I mean, during the Paris Olympic, Harmanpreet Singh scored 10 goals throughout the whole campaign, as if he carried the team single-handedly, to the bronze medal finish at that Olympic. Actually, even at this World Cup as well, Harmanpreet have scored 6 goals. So it shows how much the team is reliant on Harmanpreet Singh. I agree with you, UK Thunders, that India need to build, at least 3 to 4 penalty specialists. I mean, what's the thing with Argentina? I mean, during today's game only, we all noticed that Argentina have so many penalty corners in the team. Suppose if one fails, another can step in. So that's how you should always have a backup plan for penalty corner. And India also, this is one thing India really need to address as soon as possible.
Okay, hope this World Cup exit will hurt us like the 2015 ODI World Cup exchange. Exit changed England fortunes in ODI cricket. Okay, so now we have a cricket analogy over here. But moving on, Rahul, last question to you before we close the show. What's next for the Indian women's team and what's next for the Indian men's team in this Hockey World Cup?
Both of them will take part in the upcoming Asian Games, but things now, looking a bit tough for the Indian men's team, because not only at this World Cup, but the Pro League as well, the situation was very much same, because in the Pro League, India finished second from the bottom of the table, and that's an alarming call for Indian men's team. But we all thought that their head coach actually took that Pro League as a kind of experiment. He was also, was focusing on the workload management of every players. He was trying out a lot of combination with the team. So we all thought that he approached that tournament as a that competition actually as a experiment. Before this Hockey World Cup, we all expected the Indian men's hockey team to be at their best at this World Cup. But now their underwhelming performance actually continues from Pro League to this World Cup as well. I don't know actually whether 3 weeks will be enough to address those concerning areas before the Asian Games. But there are a lot of areas where actually this team needs reinforcement before at least the 2028 LA Olympics. Now remains to be seen how they can qualify for the next Olympic actually, whether they will get direct qualification by winning the Asian Games, which looks very tough because there will be opponents like Japan, then South Korea in the knockout. Looks very tough. But again, Craig Fulton, a lot of work to do for the men's team. Now, contrastingly for the women's team, again, after finishing fourth at the Olympics in 2021 Tokyo, the women's team, kept on struggling a lot since the last 3 to 4 years. But since, February this year, Sword Marine, He has worked a lot, with the women's team, and the progress, evident so far. They won the FIH Nation Cup. Now at this World Cup, we all actually expected the women's team won't be able to qualify for the championship round, but they defied all odds and expectation. They qualified for the championship round. They gave a tough fight to Netherlands as well. Against Netherlands, they conceded only 2 goals, but that also from penalty corners. They played out a gritty draw against the Paris Olympic silver medalist China. So there are clear signs that this team is actually progressing. Obviously, they will take another year to be one of the heavyweight nation, but I can say that after this World Cup, this women's team have now established themselves among some heavyweight nation, and that they have proven that they can give tough competition to some of the elite team as well in the world.
Rahul, I did mention last question, but the people in the comment section, they've been asking about the coach and all. Keeping aside everything, Rahul, I wanted to ask your personal opinion. Do you feel that it is, harsh to remove the coach after the Asian Games, or should he be given more opportunity?
Obviously, it will be harsh to remove the coach because it's the same coach, Craig Fulton, who within 1 or 2 years of taking charge, he guided this team to a bronze medal finish at the Paris Olympics, which means that this coach also have no doubt actually about his coaching pedigree. So I think it will be too early to take such harsh decision about the coach. We should give him time. As I already mentioned, that Hockey India won't be taking such decision right now. Uh, but I think obviously they will take a look at the performance of the team. They will do a review after the Asian Games. That's when they can take such decision if something goes wrong with this team. Because uh, if suppose things go wrong for Indian men's team at the Asian Games as well, obviously Hockey India need to be careful before the LA Olympics in 2028.
Rahul, another comment is there. I cannot help but take it. I'm so sorry. I keep on saying last question, and then I keep on extending
No
the
worries.
show. But I ensure you, this is the last question that I'm going to take. This is the last comment. Any benefit of Paddy Upton as a mental conditioning coach? I can't see any. Rahul, you did an interview with Paddy Upton as well. So if you could just like to tell our viewers something about it.
I mean, we can't blame the support staff if things don't go according to your plan in any tournament. Of course, Paddy often he hasn't left any stone unturned in preparing the team mentally strong for a tournament like a hockey World Cup. And before also we have seen that how Paddy worked and actually worked wonders for this team at the Olympics. Also even for the 2011 Indian cricket team as well. When they lifted the ODI World Cup. But actually, I think of course he has left no stone unturned, but I think the team have failed to the players have actually failed to execute those philosophy, those tactics on the pitch. If they can't execute, you can't blame the support staff as well. So that's what I think that there is no point in asking that whether there is any benefit of Paddy Afton or not. So that's my opinion on this.
Okay, so on that note, we're closing today's show. We'll be back for another live
Thank
very
you.
soon. But till then, please keep an eye on Rev Sports. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back.